Hello, everybody. Greg, how are you doing?
Hey, Brian. Hello, everybody. Hey, I'm doing great, Brian. I'm loving the weather. Spring is here and makes a person feel pretty good.
Yeah, you know what I just noticed? This is like my first live I've done in like 6 months. Um, I don't have our names showing up.
Oh,
How did I do that? It's been
everyone will
so
just have to
long
bear
since I've
with us.
done this, I
We're
don't
out of
remember.
practice. It's been a while.
I know. Oh, show display names. There we
There
go.
we go.
Gives a little something there. All right. All right. As you're coming into the live, say hello and we'll chat a little bit. For a topic tonight, we wanted to talk about overcoming struggles on your weight loss journey, your diet. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and just chat a little bit and so forth. So we're kind of waiting for some people to join. I see a couple people in so far. Greg, I know you've kind of gotten back on track here over like what the last 3 weeks, 3 weeks or so. You want to give us a little update of how that's been going for you?
Yeah, I decided 3 weeks ago here, the end of March, that it'd been a long time since I'd really been on this lifestyle, and that's why I really wasn't on camera either. Because I'm like, well, I'm not going to come on camera if I'm not living the lifestyle. So I decided, it's time to get back at it, and I thought, well, why not get back on YouTube? Maybe that'll get me keep me focused and. So here I am 3 weeks later. I'm doing a low carb, basically keto diet. I mean, I keep the carbs down there quite a ways. I eat a lot of meat, obviously, but so far I'm down 16 pounds in 3 weeks. So I'm shooting for 20 pounds in four. We'll see. But it's Easter weekend this weekend too. So we'll see though. I'm going to try and be really good and diligent and stay on task. So we'll see what happens.
All right. I'm going to bring up a couple of comments here. So Simpson was here an hour early. So she said she was going to be back in an hour. So hopefully she'll be on here pretty soon. Sorry, my earpod thing is falling out. And Cheryl is here. So hello, Cheryl.
Cheryl, how
Saying
are
hi from
you?
Wisconsin. Go ahead and say hi in the chat if you'd like. And all right, like I said, our main topic tonight that we want to talk about was um boy, I'm already having a I can't think right now. Yes. So probably because I'm hungry because I didn't eat. So uh overcoming struggles in your journey, your health journey, weight loss journey, that type of stuff, right? And Gail is here. Hello, Gail. Um,
Hi, Gail. Hi, Gail.
so this is something that I think Greg and I both have some good experiences with. You know, Greg just talked a little bit about falling off a little bit. I've talked a little bit on my YouTube channel with struggling over the last holiday season for like a 2 to 3 week period. And it was interesting for me because I started doing the carnivore diet in July of 2022. And that first holiday season, just a few months in, was a little tough. I can't deny, I can't lie here. I ate some things I should have at the holidays and so forth. And I was doing really good. I had lost like, I don't know, 60 pounds, I think, or something like that in the first 3 months. And that kind of slowed down that progress for a little bit. And then I got back on track. And then, so that was 2022. Yeah, 2022. Then 2023 holiday season was great for me. Like I didn't I didn't feel cravings or any of that stuff. And I thought I was past everything. And then I found out no, all you have to do is slip up and the cravings come back, at least for me. Because last year in December, um, I was like, I'm 2.5 years doing this thing. I'm doing great. It's not going to matter if I decide that I'm going to eat this cookie, it's just one cookie, that type of thing. Well, that like changed something in my brain like instantly. Like I was like, man, I really want another cookie. Or, oh, look at that. There's, I don't know, whatever it was. Um, and I don't know, I got this new screen thing going on and my gray is bleeding out. But anyway, so I struggled with it. And I had like a 2 to 3 week period where I was still eating my good carnivore foods, but my brain was telling me, you know what? You want to eat this too. And then I go and eat like a cookie or something. And it just didn't work very well for me for that 2 to 3 week period. Luckily, I caught myself quickly, I guess, somewhat quickly, and got back on track. Um, so that's my kind of story of falling off the bandwagon. But I think we've got some good tips that we can give for how to try and overcome struggles and temptations and that kind of stuff that we'll go over today. Let me catch up a little bit with the chat. So Simpson
Yeah.
is back.
Hi,
All
Simpson.
right. Ready to give us a hard time. Gail says, I've got to cut back on the goat milk and goat cheese. Technically carnivore, but too carby. Yeah, I, I've found I really like cheese. I do, but it's it's not good for me. I get bloated and it just stalls any type of weight loss progress and so forth. So I really have to be careful with cheese. And I at the point now that I try not to eat it because of that.
Yeah, I hear you on the cheese. I love cheese. I do. I still eat it, but I have to watch it closely. Here, I just found a new cheese I really like. It's actually a horseradish cheese. I like horseradish, and it was kind of good. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you can't eat too much of that cheese, or it's going to stall you out. I can see where Gail's talking about the goat's milk and that too. That would
Mm.
definitely slow you down. But I hear what you're saying on getting off track, and I think it's important when we look at this stuff is to be honest with ourselves. Brian, looking back on it, when I reached my over 100-pound weight loss in 8 months, to be honest, I look back on it, it's like, I don't think I was really on plan after that. When I look back and really break it down, sure, I watched it a little closer, but I wasn't like I was when I was really focused, dropping the weight. And I think the thing for me that changed, and I'm not going to make excuses, it's my fault. I hit that big milestone, I'm keeping it off, things are going good. Well, then my life changed for the fact that I started working. That was a totally new element for me. At first I adjusted okay, but then I slowly slipped into, I'm in the convenience store a few times. Boy, those things look good. You're kind of half watching it, half not. One day you're good, one day you're not. And then sure, you kind of somewhat maintain the weight loss, but over time, as I got busy, what happened is I started working, and then my mom, I was kind of taking care of her, through that whole process. Then I was working, taking care of my mom, and taking care of me kind of all took the back burner, and that's my fault. I'll own it because life just sometimes gets busy, and I guess the last year that's kind of what happened to me, I feel. But it's still my fault because I could have stayed more focused. I could have did better planning. I could have made better choices. But for me, life just got really busy from there on. I started that other job. Then my mom got sick, passed away. I had 2 kids get married over the summer. One was July, the other was October. But in that time frame, in September, we sell our house and moved to Omaha, Nebraska. So there was just so much going on. I think I just was a back burner. I wasn't the priority. And, I think, looking back on it, I mean, that's my fault because I needed to still make myself a priority, stay on task, get going. But I guess that's where I got to a point where I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And, I started putting weight on over the winter and was still kind of adjusting. And now I got to the point where it's like, hey, I don't have that much going on. I can focus on me. And here I am back at it again. And I got to stay in that mode though. You can't go off and away from what you've known. And, especially now that I've been back on for 3 weeks, Brian, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Just the food that you eat. I mean, it's just amazing to stay away from all the carbs, and I just feel so much better instantly. And some people say you have the keto flu and stuff. I had no issues with that. I maybe had a headache one day. That's about all I ever had. So I was fortunate that way, because I know some people get really sick, but this time around, I feel like my body adjusted very quickly to low carb. When I first started this journey back in 23, I had a lot of issues in the bathroom. I mean, especially switching foods, my stomach and gut was healing. I was losing weight, but it was very different from what it is right now. So I guess it's been a positive. I think that's one of the reasons why, the weight's coming off pretty quick for me so far. I realize it's going to slow down. I'm mentally prepared for that. That first month, it'd be great to lose 20 pounds, whether I'll get there or not, we'll see. But, and I know it'll back down a little bit, but on average, I think I look back at the first time I was averaging like 3 pounds. I averaged like 3 pounds a week for weight loss, which is pretty good. I mean, that's not bad. You can't complain. And I'm sure it'll average out for me, as I go, but I want to just keep the train rolling and continue what I started. Cause it was one of those things that, I got down. I still wanted to lose another 40 to 50 pounds. Well, I didn't do that. I got off track. So, this time around, I'm hoping to do that and get to my final goal. So that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah. Excuse me. So I apologize ahead of time. I got a little bit of a cold. I was kind of fighting something, and the other night I only got 2 hours of sleep, and that kind of pushed me over the edge. So I got a little bit of a cold. My voice probably sounds a little different. I might cough a little bit, so I'll try not to cough in the microphone. Sorry about that. I'm going to go through a couple of comments here, and then I have a couple of tips that I want to bring up to try and help us to stay on target and not fall off the bandwagon like Greg and I have both done in the past. So let's catch up here real quick. Cheryl says, Jesus, a problem, and the coffee drinks. Now, I don't know about you, Greg. I don't drink coffee, so I've never had to worry about the coffee thing. But I know a lot of people drink coffee, and there's differing things. Like I've heard people say, I keep getting this gray going in my background. I've heard people say that they have seen issues with drinking coffee, and other people say that they don't see any difference when they stop drinking coffee. So it's an interesting one for me. But I never drank it.
I would struggle with coffee because I'd want to put creamer and sugar in it to like it. So I just, I just stay away, I guess.
Oh, what I was just getting to, Gail says, I've gained since drinking 3 to 4 cups of coffee a day the past few months. It was the goat milk. So she's putting the milk in the coffee, I guess.
Yeah.
That's my story I'm sticking to. Yep. Yeah, I won't drink flavored coffee things anymore, but I substituted goat milk lattes. Okay. So Simpson says, you still disappoint me, Greg, that I lost an Iowan carnivore. There aren't many of us, although you live closer now.
I lived in Iowa my whole life, so I'm still kind of in Iowa, and I'm just in Omaha, but I go back to Iowa at least once, sometimes twice a month. So I'm still there. I'm still kind of Iowan.
So Gail says, got to do some kind of damage with the mic at least once. I'm trying to be careful right now, trying to, at least keep it later or something video. Well, but it's funny because the last time we didn't go live, but was that about a week or two, we did a pre-recorded session that we then did a premiere on. And I did something where I hit the table and my camera started shaking like crazy.
Earthquake.
And then after that, I did an interview with Carnivorous Grandma, Robin. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I've got a little bit of a blooper reel from that interview. So I got some new bloopers that I'm starting to put together. The first thing I did was the very start as I try to introduce her, I couldn't speak. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And then I've got the best bloopers from that video. She has a dog that kept opening the door into the room she was in. And at one point she said the word dogma, and the dog started barking. And then there was another time she was talking about something, and you could just hear growling in the background. And we're just like, so all that got edited out of the video, but it's in a blooper reel that I'm going to have to put together at some point. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Cheryl says, my coffee are so, boy, see, I can't even talk now. My coffees are so full of other stuff that it shouldn't even be called coffee. Well, hopefully it's not too much sugar. Johnny is here.
Hey, Johnny, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, Johnny. Good to see you back working on the carnivore diet and working out and so forth. Some says, saw the interview with Rob and look forward to seeing the bloopers. Yep. I'm sure I got all kinds of bloopers that I just got to try and put together too, because I'm always doing something. So, but I put that short together with some of our past bloopers, and there was one in there of me hitting the microphone. And so, yeah,
I think you usually had about one every show.
It seems like it.
You just got to search.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like, why do I do that stuff? I think it's because I try so hard not to make mistakes, and then it just happens all the time because I've tried so hard.
Brian needs a microphone like mine. See, you can't even see mine, but I don't bump it. It's got a heavy weight on it, and it's far enough away from me.
You know, can I even grab this thing? So I got this other.
It's hard to hear you.
So I got this other microphone. It's kind of dusty now. It's laying on the floor that connects to the table and would just sit up here like this. But I didn't like the volume, I guess. The sound wasn't as good as this microphone.
Can you put that microphone on that boom?
I'd have to look at that clip and see. Yeah, I'd have to look at it and see.
See, guys, this is real talk. We're talking about whatever. That's the way this show works.
Yeah, like I said, you never know what's gonna happen. So still like the farty party. Yes, that I'm never gonna live that one down.
That was classic.
So let's go back really quick because I have these two tips that I really wanted to bring into the discussion, and then you can maybe comment a little bit too. I think these are really, really important when it comes to trying to stay on your health, diet, journey, whatever. And if you start to fall off, to get yourself back on quickly. And the first thing is that I think it's really, really important to have a very good why. And when I say that, I don't mean just like my why is because I need to lose 50 pounds. That doesn't work. It may work a little bit and it might work for some, but what really, and I wish I could get rid of the gray, you see that static like in my video? That's weird. I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway,
it's not that bad.
Okay. So what has been tested and true to work, proven, I guess, to work is having a why that is really, really important to you, and that you don't fully ever get to the point of, it's not like a goal where like, okay, I accomplished that and now what, right? So for me, this has been my why. And I have to go back to, like, I was very overweight, had a lot of health issues. I didn't feel like, so I was in my upper 40s and I didn't feel like I was going to live much longer. I had younger kids and so forth. And so my why became that I wanted to watch my kids grow up, graduate from high school, if they go to college, graduate from college, get married, have kids of their own, so I'd have grandkids, and also live a nice long life with my wife and be able to do things, especially as I get into retirement age, where I was healthy enough to actually do those things. I know that's kind of a bit of a long why, but it really means something. And no matter how good I feel, I still have that why. Like I'm still reaching for it, right? So that's really important that you have something that you can continue to reach for. And I think that with that, the the best thing to say is that it's not really a goal. It's beyond a goal, and you continue to strive for it, and you remind yourself of that why every day, especially if you're hitting situations where you're craving foods, or let's say, the holidays are coming up, and like in this case, Easter is coming up, and maybe, like, let's say you're going to wake up in the morning and that day you're going to a party, and you know that there's going to be temptations that morning. Literally, out to yourself out loud, remind yourself of your why. And when you remind yourself out loud, it's even that more powerful to you. So that's my first big tip. I know I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking a lot. I'm going to give you a second to talk here, just a second, Greg. But my second big tip is, when you are knowing that you're going to go to like a party or something like that, always make sure you've eaten yourself at home, whatever it is, to fill yourself up, so that when you're there, you won't be hungry and the temptations will be less. And I actually have a third why that I'll talk about later, or not why, but a third thing to help
Mm-hmm.
with this stuff that I'll talk about later. But I want to give you a chance, Greg, to talk a little bit too. But I'm going
Go
to
ahead and
catch
do the
us up on
comments if you
comments
like.
really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Where were we? So let's see. Well, I think we got this. Johnny saying hello.
Yep.
Saw the interview. We did see that. Okay, we got a couple comments here. Here we go. I like the term "why" that makes you cry.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's it's very powerful. It's very important to you, right? And that's what makes the why really, really good. Johnny says, just imagine, Brian, where you would be today if you never started this lifestyle. I'm 51 right now. I guess I was, what, 48 when I started carnivore. Um, it would be, I wouldn't know if I would still be alive, because I just felt like things were really bad. Like, I was very unhealthy. I didn't want to do things. I laid around on a couch a lot. I didn't have any energy. I would get out of breath very easily. Um, yeah, I mean, it would probably be 50-50 as to whether or not I'd still be alive at this point.
Yep, I
All
can
right, Greg.
understand that for sure. I think you make a great point with the whys, and I think maybe that's part of where I went wrong because my biggest why is, I didn't want to be disabled the rest of my life, and I gained with losing the weight and feeling great. I gained my life back, so it was easy to kind of let that why slip a little bit. Uh, as I was successful, the other why I had was, I wanted to walk my daughters down the aisle. Well, I did that. So, needless to say, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day with the whys, and it probably for me it needs to shift to, yes, I still need to be healthy for me, but also, like, I got to be here for my kids and my grandkids someday. And I guess that's where I want to, I want to be in my grandkids' life, because looking at my own situation, I lost my dad when I was 30 years old. And I kind of feel like I've been gypped all these years of not having my dad around. My dad was older. That was part of the deal. But, I want to see my my grandkids graduate high school, which, I don't have any grandkids yet. So I'm 53 years old. That means I'll be in my 70s probably. But I want to be able to be healthy, be able to walk, go to the events, do those kind of things. So it's one of those things. I think for me, my why going forward, obviously, is my health and being able to much of the same things that you said. I want to be able to be active. I want to spend time with my wife in retirement years. I want to be able to do stuff with my grandkids and my kids, and still be able to do that stuff when I'm older. I guess that's a big reason why for me, and a new one for me, because I already walk my daughters down the aisle. Granted, I still have a son that's going to get married someday, but I still want to be healthy and be able to keep working. Because I've had it with gaining a little bit of the weight back. I started having some issues again. Like my legs don't work like I want them to. You can just tell I'm more labored going up the stairs. That type of thing. So, I guess there's why enough for me to, hey, I got to get back at it and get back on this type of lifestyle, because I was happy when I was on it. So, it's one of those things I find myself not very happy. Well, I wasn't living the lifestyle. So it's like it was time to get back at it and make a difference for myself and my family. And I think you make a very valid point with the why and understanding what that is. So that's a big one for me. If you want to do another couple comments, you sure can there, Brian.
Yeah. So Gail says, my why was just not being in pain anymore. After 40 years, I've forgotten what life without chronic pain feels like, but I'm almost there. I'm glad it's definitely getting better for you. And Chris, hey Chris, good to see you here. 60-year-old, again, sorry, kind of losing my voice a little bit here tonight. 60-year-old yesterday, never thought this age possible. My beautiful wife gives me reason to be healthy and live longer.
Way to go, Chris.
Why. It's a great why, very personal to you. So, that's a great why.
I think Johnny had one too up above. Says Greg, talk about falling off the plan.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Greg, talk about falling off plan and finding the motivation to get back on.
Yeah, Johnny, something I want to share with you is, when I was thinking about getting back on plan, I started watching little videos, and I seen your video of when you kind of were just getting going. And to be honest, that kind of motivated me to get back at it. It's like I'm not the only one that struggled or maybe didn't do what they needed to do and got off track, but it's not too late to get back on plan, live the lifestyle. And I just want to thank you for putting your video out, Johnny, because it did help me to encourage me to continue on and get going on this plan again. So I appreciate you for putting out that video. Just like Brian, you kept at it this last year. I didn't watch all your videos, but I watched quite a few. But for me, I think I just had to get to that point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then I was there, and here I am, So I think we all come to that breaking point where it's like, hey, it's time to do something. We can all make excuses or think tomorrow we can start it tomorrow. Well, what if tomorrow never comes? So there's no better point than just, hey, get after it today. At least you tried, you made an effort. And in this case, I know this lifestyle works. I was successful at it before. I'll be successful again. And that's the thing that's nice is, in 3 weeks, I've already had a lot of success, and it's like I already feel way different, way better. So just got to keep living this way, and eventually all the weight will come off. You know what I mean? Make adjustments and get there. So it's one of those things. Brian, I'm sorry, I forgot. You mentioned your second point. Can you remind me what that was again?
The second one was like more of if you got cravings or something, you're going to a party.
Planning.
Fill yourself up. Fill yourself up ahead of time.
I'm getting old. I can't remember everything. But yeah, you're right. I think, that's one of the keys too, is proper planning. And I must say I do that every day when I go to work, as I pack the same lunch. I may change just a couple things in it, but I continually pack a lunch, because the day I don't pack a lunch, my chances of failing probably go up for that day. So, it's important to plan ahead, think ahead, what, in my case, we make a lot of hard boiled eggs. So I got to make sure there's always some available, because they make for a great snack and it's a superfood. And that's an item that I like, so I can always eat eggs. So I try to make sure I make some. Actually, that's probably what I'm going to do tonight after this live is I need to make some more hard boiled eggs for the rest of the week. It's making sure you cook up the bacon. When you're going to cook supper, cook your bacon. I like snack bacon. So we cook bacon, we put it in a baggie in the fridge, and then we have that. And sometimes I'll take a couple slices, cut it up, put that in my lunch. In one of my compartments, I have a little 4-compartment thing. I don't know if you saw my short that kind of shows you my lunches that I take. But I'll break that up and put that in there. So then, I get the meat and it's got the nice fat content, and it's pretty satisfying too. So.
All right, I'm going to catch us up on comments really quick, and then I'll go with my third tip that I have for people. So Simpson says, I honestly don't think I would have made it a month before I started carnivore. So all I have to do is remember that pitiful me and I don't stray. That's another good why. Remembering how you felt before and not wanting to go there again. And just, like I say, remind yourself. Don't be afraid to remind yourself every day, and don't be afraid to say it out loud. Like when you first get out of bed, that's the first thing you do is, this is my why. I know it may sound a little stupid, but when you say it out loud, it's kind of like got a double something. I know that sounds very technical, but something that helps it to stay in your memory better and in your consciousness. So, let me see where else we got here. I gained 60 pounds in 4 months. Also, the hip and knee pain came back. Yeah, it's interesting how quickly when we fall off, you can gain the weight back. And, when you're eating the wrong foods, you're adding inflammation in your body, and things start to get inflamed and you start to feel the soreness again.
I think part of it too, with some of that, is the addiction part of it. I mean, this first time around when I lost all that weight, I didn't realize how addicted to chocolate I was. And I still struggle. I cannot have chocolate in the house because I will eat the whole bag. It just does not. I mean, even in the store, I have to remind myself, I tell myself that's poison. You can't have that. Same thing with anything that's flour. I remind myself that's poison. You can't eat that. And that helps me stay from grabbing something I shouldn't. Anytime you can associate pain with something, I think it's easier to stay away from. But sometimes that addiction is very strong because you know how good it is and how it tastes. And, and then you have to, and at the same time, the other battles, it's so bad for you, but it's like, what do you choose, And I think we all have that battle from time to time. And we just have to always make the right decision and stay away from the stuff that we know is going to harm us.
Yeah. Simpson says we'll blame it on the honey buns.
Yeah.
So this is a good time for me to go with my third tip for trying to overcome struggles. I think this is really, really important, and I will give you an example in my life where it helped me. And this is having an accountability partner. Now, I will admit I really don't have an accountability partner right now, but Greg, you and I kind of talk offline all the time, so that kind of maybe works.
Yeah, it's probably more back now because we communicate, with text or whatever. And I think being focused on, doing videos, and I think, I definitely say that last time. I think we were accountability partners on this. And I think that's a good thing. And hopefully by us doing this and getting together and talking, it helps people that follow us be accountable too, or they feel like they have a place to go and, know that they aren't alone in this battle. And yes, we all fall down. It's the keys to get back up, get back at it, get back on plan. and you'll see results. You just got to keep working the plan, and eventually you'll get where you want to go. And never compare yourself to others. It's easy, that can be discouraging when you see someone be really successful and like, well, why is my weight not coming off? Or why is it slow for me this month? And it's like, well, we just have to be patient. We continue to work on knowing what works, and the results will come. You just got to stay on the plan and the lifestyle, and make good decisions, and you'll get somewhere.
So let me tell you my example here for accountability. So I met someone through a program I was trying to do back in 2007. And I'm not going to say the name of the program because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, any of that kind of stuff. But I got to know somebody online during that time period when I was trying to lose weight. And I actually did lose quite a bit of weight. And they never did with this particular diet we were trying to do. I lost quite a bit of weight, but it was not sustainable for me. And I gained all the weight back plus a little bit more really pretty quickly. But I got to know that person, and we became friends on Facebook and so forth. And when I started doing carnivore, we were kind of talking, and we kind of made an accountability team for each other. So what we ended up doing was we created our own private Facebook group that was just the two of us. And every day we posted what we ate, the time of day that we ate, and if we did any exercise activity or whatever. And that really helped me because, believe it or not, part of it was I have to post this for, I'll just say his first name because nobody will know from that. His name was Pete. So I have to post this for Pete to see. And when I post this, if I eat, I'm supposed to be doing a carnivore diet. If I eat 3 pieces of pizza, he's going to see that and know I was not doing the carnivore diet like I should have been, right? So that helped to keep me accountable. And the other piece of it is we would just talk back and forth. There was some texting we did too, but it was a lot within the Facebook group or Messenger, and just trying to keep each other motivated. So when you have an accountability partner, it really helps. And it doesn't have to be somebody that you see in person. That's a good example of somebody with all the social media that we have that you can do through social media and so forth. Now, it doesn't mean you have to do exactly like how we did it or anything, but that's a very good way to get yourself going. Now, I will say I did that over the first, I don't remember exactly, but it was probably good 3-4 months on the carnivore diet where we posted every day. And we kind of got to the point where I slacked off a little bit with my posting after that. And we just do more of like check-ins because I felt like I was kind of past that point that I needed to do it every day. So it can change, you can change it as you go. But that's what worked for me early on, was having that accountability partner that I talked with every day, basically, even though we didn't really necessarily talk that much, but just through posts and so forth. And I think that's very, very powerful. And I think a lot of people miss that. And, I don't coach anybody on nutrition and health, but if I did, and I had somebody that was struggling, that would be one of the first things. Of course, I already talked about the why. That would be number 1. And number 2 would be, do you have an accountability partner? And if not, let's find you one. And again, it doesn't have to be anybody that you even know that well. It can be somebody through social media that you have the same struggles and you've got to know a little bit with talking, and you do it that way.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Anytime it's like you're doing it with somebody. I think that helps a lot. And it's kind of like we've discussed, we all face struggles, and it's nice to have somebody else that understands or knows and can help give you some positive words of encouragement and keep you, at least get you, keep on the plan. And maybe you go off a day or whatever, but somebody else is there to kind of pick you up and, hey, let's get going. That really helps. It's kind of like going to the gym and having a workout buddy. Same kind of concept. You know that you're going to let them down if you don't go, because they're waiting for you. So, that accountability partner is kind of a big deal. So,
yeah. So this comment from Johnny, you two guys definitely help me remember that I'm not alone in this. That really means a lot to me when I see comments like that. So I'm glad that we are able to help you on your journey. This is exactly why I have a YouTube channel and I do stuff like this, because I want to be able to help other people. That's always kind of been in my nature, to help other people. Like when my kids were growing up, I volunteered as a coach in all kinds of different sports, even sports I didn't know what I was doing, just because I wanted to help them. And it's the same thing here. Like I want to help people, and that's why I share my experiences and talk about different things, motivation, accountability, and so forth. And I just hit my table and the camera didn't shake, so I'm doing good here. You almost saw a blooper, but we did not. So anyway, though, yes.
I second that.
So,
with why you do the YouTube channel. And, I think to myself, when I was at my lowest point of basically being disabled, not working, not knowing where I was going to head in life if my life was over. And I always, when I try to do this, I remind myself of the person sitting on their couch at home. Maybe they're on their phone. Maybe they're on YouTube on their TV. They think their life is over. Maybe they think of ending their life. I kind of remind myself, Greg, you do this to help those people that think that there's no way out or no way they can change their life. And that's why I remind myself when I do this every day, somebody needs to hear what you have to say. Maybe not all the people that are here, but maybe someone that, like this video, for example, maybe someone watches this 6 months from now and they realize, hey, I can do this. These guys did it. These people have done it. It's just you try to inspire other people and just say, hey, you can do this. Because I think we do have to get to that point, kind of like I said earlier, where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's when people reach out for help. And that's when they can be helped the most. It's just a matter of catching them at that moment where, hey, I'm ready to do something about it. Where do I start? So I guess that's one of the things, it reminds me of why I do this too, is just, if I can reach one person and help change their life or get them going on the right track, it's totally worth it. So.
let me go to this next comment. Gail says, seeing photos and videos of me is my accountability. It reminds me of where I've been, where I am, and which direction I'm going. That works too. Great.
Yep.
Excuse me again about the coughing.
That's okay, Brian. You better take some vitamin C, some vitamin D, some zinc.
So, perfect example here of when people say carnivores don't get sick. That's not necessarily true. I will say, though, I don't get sick that often. Like before I was on the carnivore diet, I used to get sick all the time. There's like just a few times really in almost 3 years that I've been sick with the carnivore diet. One time I had COVID, but it really wasn't that bad. And like now I kind of have a cough, like my voice is starting to go away. Again, I only got a couple hours sleep the other night, so that's part of it. But my throat doesn't hurt or anything. I don't feel that bad. And before I went on the carnivore diet, like you could ask my wife, I'm the biggest baby. I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world for like 2 weeks, So yes, carnivores sometimes do get sick. I will say that. But it's funny you say something about vitamin C. So I went to the doctor the other day for my annual checkup. Let's bring this up. Why not? Why not bring this up? So of course, I've been thinking about needing a different doctor. anyway. That's a good way to start it, right? But it's just there's nobody in this area that really supports a low carb diet, which is weird because the area I live in, there's a lot of health conscious people and a lot of people that are doing keto. Maybe not as many people doing carnivore like me, but a lot of people doing
Hmm.
keto in this area, and you can't find any doctors that really support it. But anyway, so he's looking at my lab work from last year, and he goes, "Well, your LDL was a little high. It was 110. It was 110. That's not that bad actually. But anyway, he's like, your LDL is a little high, but your triglycerides and your HDL were good." I'm like, yeah, that's the story of a low carb person. But anyway, um, so he's like, so we're gonna do your blood work again, and we're gonna check all kinds of stuff. And he asked like why my cardiologist, because I had AFib, right? So tell that story real quick. I had AFib before I had carnivore. At the time I went carnivore, I was having 2 to 3 episodes a week. I was on, he had me taking magnesium, potassium. I was on a beta blocker and a blood thinner. And within the first month on carnivore, I stopped having episodes. And it's almost 3 years now without a single episode. He's had me wear heart monitor for up to 30 days at a time. No episodes have been recognized, anything. I've done stress tests. Nothing's happened. So he took me off the potassium, took me off the blood thinner. Um, Magnesium was just an over the counter thing. So that wasn't something I had to be taken off of. But um, anyway, uh, so that my family doctor is like, so why did your cardiologist take you off the potassium? I'm like, well, it was mostly that I was put on it because that can cause, if your potassium's low, can cause palpitations, heart palpitations. And I'm over here, I don't know why I'm like explaining this to a doctor. He should know this. But anyway, that could, happen. And then those palpitations could put you into AFib. So that was his reasoning for putting me on the potassium prescription. But I haven't had an episode in 3 years. So I'm no longer on it, just like I'm not on the blood thinner and so forth. And he's like, okay, well, we'll check your potassium and your magnesium, just make sure all that stuff's good. Of course, it was checked last year too, and it was good. And he even said like your magnesium actually looks like it's on the higher end of the spectrum, which your magnesium is kind of regulated by your body. Same with potassium, like it's really hard to get it outside of the range, like that serious trouble,
Hmm.
even death could happen. But okay, whatever. So I got the results back last night, and he didn't do a magnesium test. Wait, yeah, he didn't do a magnesium or a potassium test. So I thought that was weird when he said he was. So that was weird. But anyway, okay, LDL. I haven't heard from the doctor yet. I think I'm gonna have to fire him because my LDL went from 110 to 178, and he thought 110 was bad. Um, and I don't think I can just explain to him that LDL is not what we should be looking at because my triglycerides are good. My HDL is good. And those are really the factors you should be looking at. Like, there's just because cholesterol is got an association doesn't mean it's causation, right? Like, cholesterol is used for so many things in your body, including, your brain function and so forth. And they're actually starting to treat people with low carb diets that have the beginning stages of dementia and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't even think I can go into those types of conversations with him. So I think I'm just going to have to fire him. But I'm waiting for the phone call. And my wife and I were just talking about this. He's going to be like, yeah, we've got a prescription for you to go on a statin, which I'm not going to do. So that's kind of my story for the doctor thing. But it's funny because like everything was really good. My kidney function, people that tell you that, especially doing carnivore and eating a lot of red meat, that your kidneys are going to go bad. Almost 3 years. My kidney function is better than it's ever been.
Nice.
It went from starting point in the 70s to now it's a 91, which is like excellent. The EGFR, did I say it right? EGFR, GFR, yeah. Um, so there's a couple other different things that check your kidney and your liver and stuff like that. Used to have a bit of fatty liver. That seems to be gone. So all those things are good. I know he's going to come back and be like, but you're LDL. So
Yeah, I'm kind of in that boat right now. I mean, I don't have a doctor here yet. I haven't found one. I have been on high blood pressure medication. One ran out like a month ago. Um, I still have another one I'm taking, but I'm using more like supplements. Like I automatically take potassium, especially in the afternoon or evening, I should say. Because with losing weight, I mean, I drink a lot anyway, so I urinate a lot. Well, in the past, what I found out, my potassium would get low. So now I automatically just take potassium. And then I'm just kind of experimenting with that a little bit to see how it goes. And, my blood pressure hasn't been really bad or anything. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it. But that's the problem. I had a really good doctor to work with in Iowa, and now I'm here in Omaha, and I'm like, I don't even know where to begin to look to find one. I was debating about just telehealthing him and have him, do whatever I need to do. And I mean, if I have to go do blood work and send it to him, whatever. I mean, I'd rather almost do that than to try to find a new doctor.
yeah. That reminds me of another thing I was going to say with it. Salt, sodium. If you know me, and if you've seen some of my videos, like where I show my food, I use a lot of salt. I salt my food like crazy. And I know that there are people out there in the carnivore community that says that you shouldn't use salt on your food and that they feel better when they haven't salted, use salt. And I think either I have a video about that more recently or I have it recorded and it's going to be coming out soon, where I talk a little bit about that and how to really know if you're needing more salt or not, some signs that you can look at for being deficient and so forth. But anyway, if your body is functioning properly and your kidneys are working properly, you should not have a problem with salt. My sodium is like right in the middle. It's great. And I'm telling you, I eat so much salt. I season like my steaks. I season them ahead of time and do like the dry brining thing with salt. And then I put them on, cook on the grill or wherever, air fryer, cook them. And then I go and I put more salt on when I'm going to eat it. Like my wife is like, you use so much salt, but I don't have extra salt in my body. So my body is getting rid of any extra salt that there is. And I've been functioning fine. So my point here, I guess, is just because an influencer says that they feel better from it, just do what works for you and make sure that if you do decide that you're going to stop using salt, because a lot of things that we have today doesn't have salt and other minerals in it like it used to. Make sure that you're checking for warning signs of things like leg cramping, headaches, particularly like migraines, usually have to do with low sodium deficiencies. So different things like that. Just keep that in mind. So sometimes you got to watch, and I don't want to put other influencers down or anything, but just because it works for another influencer doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And I think also sometimes some people forget, they're like, yeah, I don't salt my food anymore, but they forget they're also drinking an electrolyte mix, which has sodium in it. So
Right.
We have a question in here, so let me go to it. Greg, I'm interested to know if you have ever gone full carnivore, and if so, what made you to go more keto? I am trying to talk my husband into going keto. So what do you eat in a day?
Brian can almost answer this, I bet. He knows, like, I did go full carnivore, but I think the most I've ever went full carnivore was like 6 weeks. When what I tend to do is if like keto here, if all of a sudden I get stuck a couple of weeks, I'll probably do carnivore a week or two to shake it up and keep my metabolism guessing. I did that quite a bit the first go around. I do keto for a while, and then all of a sudden I'd like, well, I'm going to tighten it down, get more of a carnivore, ketovore type diet. Now I did do full carnivore for 6 weeks, and I had some success. I think I did a video where I did it a month, and I lost like 18 pounds. Especially towards the end because I was kind of stuck and I'm like, I got to do carnivore and see what happens. And, it took me down another level. And then I go back to keto. What I would say for a keto diet, what my definition and what I consider keto is keep it under 20 grams of carbs per day to do keto. What I consider ketovore is probably under 10. And obviously carnivore is less than 5. There's always a little something, like if you eat eggs, there's some that are hidden in there. You could say it's close to 0. But yeah, I say less than 5 for carnivore, pretty much. But I think for me, I get a little more variety with keto. I can have a taco salad. I can have some broccoli with my steak, or some cauliflower. And to me, that's just a little more satisfying for me. And that makes it a little easier for me, I guess. And I like cheese a little, but you can still have carnivore, be on carnivore and have cheese. It's just, you can't have very much, which in keto, same thing. I can't eat that much, I'm willing to bet there's times where, I call myself ketovore, where I have a carnivore that's probably eating more carbs than me. So, it just depends on where I'm at, but there's nothing wrong with progressing. Now, I had friends that did low carb. They were probably like 80 to 100 grams of carbs per day, and they lost the weight. They lost like 90 some pounds between them. So that works too. I mean, it's just one of those things that, you keep going down a stale. Obviously, Lion diet's probably the most strict as far as what you can eat. I think Simpson, you do a Lion diet. If I remember you saying that, you do Lion diet, but that's why I say I kind of balance between the two. I always call myself ketovore. Sometimes I'm carnivore, but I'm probably more ketovore than I am carnivore. So it's just because I do like last night I had a huge taco salad and it was amazing. To me, that was more of a, Brian wouldn't eat that. So he, that's where he's carnivore and I'm keto. So, but it doesn't mean I don't have days where I'm pretty much like a carnivore. So, I eat quite a few eggs too.
I was going to say, as an innocent bystander, when you were doing really well, I feel like you were ketovore one day, carnivore the next day, ketovore the next day, and so forth. Like you were trading off every other day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it seemed like that was you were doing.
It's interesting. Do you know Thomas? Is it Dufleur or whatever? He's the big guy, big YouTube guy that's big on keto, carnivore, all those diets. I seen an interesting video from him yesterday talking about this type of diet, and he talked about chicken and pork and how those bring different fat elements into your diet that you need. And I thought that was very interesting because it's like, well, that's kind of what I did the whole time. Because I don't always eat red meat. I'll have chicken or I'll have pork and I'll butter it up, to add some of that fat. But you also get different protein levels, different types of fat with those kind of meals. So I felt pretty good after watching that video because it's like, yeah, I am mixing it up. So I'm not. His big thing is you're going to lose muscle mass, on some of the diets if you're eating just one way. So I felt pretty good about that. But, and that's kind of what I did before. And I'm sure I'll do it again. I'm sure there'll be a point where I do carnivore and I'm way more strict just to get over the hump. But to me, it's good to mix it up, I think. And I had Brian, I had a lot of success with that. I mean, there's weeks where I just kept losing weight where other people, maybe it'd stall for a couple weeks or a month. We're all a little bit different too. What I do may not work for somebody else. So you have to keep that in mind too. But
yeah. I do have to admit something. The other day, a week ago or so, 2 weeks ago, I had a salad.
Yeah. How was it?
Well, I thought it was pretty darn tasty, and I'm going to tell you what was in it. We went to Texas Roadhouse, my wife and I. And my wife, every time I get ready to order, she starts rolling her eyes because here it comes. So I'm like, yes, I'm going to have the, I don't know, whatever it is, 16-ounce ribeye or something huge, right? Um, and for my salad, I would like just the egg and cheese that you put in the salad,
Hmm.
nothing else. And they're like, you, there's only been like one time I've gone there where they didn't bat an eye. They're like, okay, got it. Yep. Usually they look at me and they're like, you want salad dressing with that? No, just egg and cheese. So you don't want salad dressing on it? No. What about the lettuce? No, just egg and cheese. No croutons? No, just egg and cheese. Okay. So they go back. We're sitting there talking. About 3 minutes later, so the lady comes out. I'm assuming she's the manager. Um, Whoever the lady's name was as the waitress wants me to double check with you to make sure that she got your order right. For your salad, you just want egg and cheese. Yeah, yeah, egg and cheese. Okay, what salad dressing do you want with that? Just egg and cheese. But what salad dressing? I don't need salad dressing on my egg and cheese. It's just egg and cheese. Oh, so you really just want egg and cheese? Yeah. Okay. But then it comes out and it's egg and cheese. And they actually gave me a little cup with a little bit more egg because they were probably like, okay, let's give this guy more. And then the waitress comes out and she's like, did we do it right? I'm like,
That's hard to
yes,
mess
there's
up.
egg. Yes, there's egg and cheese. I think you did it right. Like, why do people look at you like you are insane? I mean, if I would have ordered their double scooped chocolate mousse, whatever, no problems. But because I um ordered egg and cheese, and so the funny thing is, when I was telling her the whole salad thing of egg and cheese, I was like, okay, how am I going to tell her that I want for the baked potato just the butter and sour cream and little bacon pieces and nothing else? So I'm like, okay, just give me a baked potato with butter, sour cream, and bacon. And then I literally took that stuff off of the baked potato and put the baked potato on the table. I'm like, do you want this baked potato? To my wife. It's like,
That's
oh my
funny.
God.
I was
So
gonna say,
Simpson,
Simpson. I think the biggest thing, a reason why I do keto for me is I feel like I'm less limited on what I can eat. A few more options that I like and fits with my lifestyle. I think that's why I go that route, and it's I've done really well with it too. But I do like to mix it up. Like I said, if I'm stuck or it's not quite going the way I want it to, yep, I will clamp down and try to take it to that next level. I haven't had to do that yet, just 3 weeks back on it, but plus I've been having success, so it's hard to argue with that. If I get stuck here and or I have a week where I'm flat or maybe I gain a pound, then I'd like, okay, time to step it up a notch and see if I need to make a change. But it's more for when you got stuck, so you could keep your metabolism guessing, not get your body comfortable. It tend to lose weight, but that's why I like keto. But don't get me wrong, there's carnivores, a great diet as well, and if you can eat that way, eat that steak every day, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I'm a steak and eggs kind of person anyways. So, I mean, it's good. There's no doubt about it. But I do like my pork and I do like my chicken just to get the variety. And I think there's some benefit to having some of those other fats and some of those other proteins. Even adding some fish, shrimp. We had steak and shrimp the other night. It was delicious. And that was amazing. So,
I gotta say, I on Facebook, I tend to post a lot of pictures of what I'm eating, and people probably get annoyed because it's almost the same thing all the time. It's either like steak and eggs or some kind of ground beef, like burger patties and eggs or something like that. Like, I do like eating other stuff, and I'll eat chicken wings maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks. I'll have chicken wings. Occasionally, I have skin on chicken thighs, but it's probably not that often, like maybe every couple months. And I like bacon, though I got to say, I've only had bacon one time in the last month,
Well,
so I
it's
don't
time to
have it
get
very
after it.
often.
It's great.
So it's mostly some sort of beef and eggs for me, which isn't really lion diet because of the eggs, so I can't say I'm lying.
Right.
But that, I don't know. I seem to do really good when I don't have a lot of variety and I stick with the same things.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions at all? Feel free to get them out there. We'd be happy to answer them. I know we'll probably be wrapping up here pretty soon, but I just want to get this out there now. I just want to thank everybody for joining us and being a part of the show tonight. We are definitely going to be doing some more here pretty soon, I'm guessing, and it's been a lot of fun tonight, that's for sure.
Yep. So I got something interesting I'm gonna test, and I'm gonna throw this out here. I saw this from somebody else. And I thought this was really cool. So anybody that's on our live stream or that sees this later, probably, I guess, will be able to see this. And I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Uh-oh.
I was gonna say your face is a little red there, Brian. You're a little flushed. I definitely would be taking some vitamin C and hopefully you aren't coming down with something.
Well, I do have some rosacea issues sometimes, so it's probably that. But
It isn't allergies. It is allergy season too right now. So
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna put this here. If you want, you can leave me a voice message. So you can ask me a question and I will answer that question in a video or something, right? So we're going to test this, see how it works. But I did this with somebody actually, and I think it's pretty cool. So you can go to this page, this website, speakpipe.com/wick, and it takes you to a page that basically just says, send a voice message to Brian Nowicki. I would love to hear from you. Please record your message. And all you have to do is have like a mic, or your phone, of course, obviously has a mic. If you're using your phone, you hit start recording. You can play, I think it's up to 90-second message. So you can ask me a question or something, and I'll get that. I'll get a notification that a message is in. I can read the messages or listen to the messages, and then I can, if this goes well, like I think, I could actually do a video where I answer some questions that people had. So I'm going to try it. We're going to see what happens with it. Let's see where we're at. Zinc. Yes. I guess I might need zinc.
when you're starting to feel sick.
Let me see before I go to Johnny's. I enjoyed it. You two were my first lives when I did when starting.
Thank you. Glad. Thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah. Johnny has a question. Greg, any exercise routine started yet?
I would probably say no, Johnny, but I will say this. I've been more active. My oldest daughter and her husband bought a house, and I've been over there painting and helping them do some things. So it's definitely been more activity for me. Here, like 3 weeks ago, I went for a walk, and my legs, ended up going to the chiropractor. My back was out of whack because my legs just felt like cement blocks. And with work, I do get out and about in the community, so I am walking and moving around a little bit. I definitely would like to walk a little bit more here coming up. My wife and I are going to be going to the Smoky Mountains here in a few weeks, and I want to be able to get around okay and do, be on my feet a lot more. So I tend to get a little swelling in one of my legs. So I've got to just kind of keep an eye on it. But I definitely need to be more active and getting stronger. I need that, and I can tell. So I just was talking to my wife about that just the other day, saying, hey, we need to start walking a little bit more. So hopefully we can get a few more walks in here. So now that the weather's nicer too, it's a little easier to get outside. So that'll be a good thing.
I love going to the Smoky Mountains, by the way. Simpson wants to know she should be calling that number to remind you to walk and move. Excuse
There
me.
you go.
Yes, you should be. And where did I put that? Oh, so it's not actually a phone number. It's just a website you go to. So you don't have to dial like anything, and you just record a message on the website. So it's a secure site. And yeah. So if you want to leave me a message, ask me a question, go ahead and leave it in there. And if I get a few questions, I can answer them in an upcoming video. We got another question here.
Yeah.
Solar Dare, I don't think I saw you in the chat before. So hello, good to see you here.
You. Welcome.
And the question is, hey guys, when do you think someone should consider adding back foods, changing back to keto, carnivore, keto, low carb diet if carnivore isn't working? I have my thoughts. Greg, do you want to tackle that first?
I think if you're stuck, if the person's stuck, they should change it up. I did a lot of that back and forth. It really worked for me, kept my metabolism guessing. If a person's doing carnivore and they don't seem to be getting anywhere, they must be missing something. And everybody's body's a little bit different. Granted, I'm not a medical expert or anything like that. What I would do is I'd change my diet up. Maybe try ketovore. Keto and just add a few carbs back in and see what happens. I'm big on tracking food. I think sometimes, you use an app like Carb Manager, you can really dial in your fats and your proteins and your carbs. I think sometimes that can really help people understand where maybe they're going wrong, and you can make your body the most efficient at burning fat with that. So I don't think it's a bad idea to switch it up and try something different, especially if you're stuck and you're not getting anywhere. I think it's important to make some changes. You got to find what works for you.
So I'll start with saying this. If the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again when it's not working. So I'll start with that. But I have a slightly different take than Greg. And my take is, before we look at changing to a different diet, which they're all low carb, but if you want to stick with carnivore, let's find out what needs to be tweaked in carnivore. So just saying that it isn't working doesn't give us a whole lot of information, because we don't know your background of what you're doing. And like Greg said, technically we're not doctors, and I don't want people to just think that they should get advice from me. Like, I can share my experiences, I can share what I think, but you should still talk to an expert type thing. But you really need to look at, first of all, what isn't working. So what's your definition of it isn't working, right? So is it that you're trying to lose weight and you're not losing weight? Is it you have a certain condition, health issue, and it's not improving? Is it both of those things? So that's kind of where you have to start. And if it has to do with weight, a lot of times, and even sometimes with feeling sluggish and stuff like that, it has to do with how we're eating. So you want to make sure you find that sweet spot for you in terms of the amount of protein that you should be eating. But the key is that it's kind of a range, because everybody's different. I'm trying to remember the exact formula, but I think it's between, what is it? Like 1 point. I can't. Oh, do I have it up? I don't think I have it up. But it's like 1.6 1.2 to 1.6 or something like that. Is that kilograms, I believe, of your ideal body weight. And your ideal body weight is not what you weigh now, but what you ideally should be. So let's take somebody that's 300 pounds and their ideal body weight is 210. It would be against that 210 number, not the 300-pound number. So you got to figure out, it'll give you a range of so many grams of protein. Like for me, it should be somewhere like around, I don't remember, like 150 to like 200 grams of protein a day, somewhere in that range. And that's what you want to start with, is make sure that you kind of find that right spot for you in that range. And then if you're still full or if you're still hungry, make sure that you're eating more fat. So try and eat fatty type of meats. But if you're still hungry, what I want to say full, you're still hungry when you've ate that much protein, don't have more protein, add fat to it to fill you up. And kind of depends between male and a female a little bit. Males probably do better with 1 meal a day if possible. 2 meals a day are okay. If you do a lot of working out, you probably need 2 meals a day. Females, in a lot of cases, I hear from females that they do better with 2 meals a day. So look at those types of things.
Ryan, I was going to say in the comment, it looks like for mental health reasons, 160 days in, 25 of those a lion diet. Simpson makes a great comment too on that. Yeah, share those. Same with Gail.
Okay, I see it here. Okay. 25 days lion diet. Okay. So this is a bit of a tricky subject because everybody doesn't heal the same. I have heard from people, and like this is one of the reasons why I like to do interviews on my channel. I need to take some water because my voice is getting worse.
Learn something from everyone, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I like to do interviews with other carnivores and so forth on my channel. Some people will tell me like their mental clarity and their mental health fixes like in a month, and other people have told me as much as a year. So this is tough because you don't know. You may just be that type of person that it takes longer. Definitely, if you decide to go low carb to change things up, make sure that it's not really bad type of carbs. It's not processed foods, because that will likely make the mental health worse. So if you go low carb, make sure that they are whole food carbs, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you got more to add to that, Greg, but I see a wide range of when people seem to see things happen.
Yeah.
And particular with mental health, but you know, also kind of pay attention to some of the smaller signs. We'll go to some of the comments here in a minute.
Yeah, there's some great comments there for sure.
But try and pay attention to small signs. Like sometimes the mental health hasn't really gotten better, but maybe you had headaches before and the headaches are gone, or you seem to have a little bit more mental clarity. Like you don't have as much of the brain fog type, right? And that means that you're on your way towards healing. You're just not there yet, and it's going to take more time. So let's see what some of the comments are. I go back up a little bit. Gail says, if carnivore isn't working, there may be an underlying condition affecting your hormones. That's a good one. I think this is called Sears, if I remember correctly, is how you pronounce it. Is the most common one. That is definitely true. Healing comes before weight loss, especially your liver. Don't be impatient. Not going to heal 40 years of damage in 2 to 3 weeks. That's true too. And like even talking about like diabetes, like I've interviewed people like Sean White. I don't know if you guys remember him,
Mm-hmm.
Intentional Carnivore. I know he still posts on Facebook. I don't know if he does YouTube stuff anymore, but I know he posts on Facebook because I see that a lot. But he had diabetes, and he seemed to. Sorry, somebody's FaceTiming me. Sorry, my daughter. Hopefully, she can get a hold of my wife and everything. We can. But he really seemed to get rid of the diabetes very fast. Other people, and he lost a lot of weight too with it really quick. Other people have said that it's taken them months to get to the point where they started to lower their medications and eventually get off medication for diabetes. So that's another example where people are just different, and some people it seems to be quicker, some people it seems to take longer. So let's see what else we got. 1 in 4 Americans have the gene that triggers Sears. I am saying that right. Sears? I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, she
SARS.
announced.
Sears. Oh, Sears.
Yep.
Um,
Simpson would probably be.
Took me 8 months. Solar. What's solar?
That's
For
the
me to get
username.
over.
Solar Dar.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
Solar Dare. Okay.
Yep.
To get over the agoraphobia. Boy, I'm having trouble reading these today. I still say to be patient. I honestly believe it will happen.
That's good advice.
Here says thanks, really appreciate it. It just been very frustrating. I get it. My son has some mental health issues that he's been working through, met with pretty bad depression for several years. Unfortunately, I can't get him to do a low carb carnivore diet, anything like that, but that's another story. He's also got celiac disease now, so he has to go gluten free. So I'm like, carnivore. He's like, well, it's almost a point. That's all I can eat. That's all I see. There you go. But anyway, the point is, I know how frustrating it can be. I know how rough it can be. I had mild depression before I started carnivore. I didn't have really bad depression, so I don't know in that sense of just how bad it is, but I know how bad it can be on the outside to have a family person that you love that's going through troubles and struggles with their mental health. So yeah, I'll leave it at that because I don't want to get too emotional here. Simpson says, I can understand that. Remind me, is OCD with you? Yes, OCD. You know what? I don't really think of that so much as mental health. I have OCD myself. I definitely would say in 3 years of doing the carnivore diet, it's better. I don't fixate as much, but I still have OCD. It's just not, it's very manageable. It's not a big problem anymore. So it's definitely improved, but it's never gone away for me all the way. So I can say that. And other people, maybe it has, but for me, it hasn't. So Simpson says, like Brian said, lots of fat. Inherent to myelin sheaths need to heal. It's not a quick thing. Yes. Your brain needs the fat. Definitely. That's a huge thing that they're finding with dementia, for instance. Your brain needs the fat. Any recommendations on adding fat? Currently, just using tallow and a bit of butter. Bacon is really good fat content. So if you like bacon, eat bacon. I have a little jar I use, and I save all my bacon grease, and I can use that bacon fat to cook other foods and so forth. So that's a good one.
There's bacon up too. I think you can use too to cook in. There's some different things.
Yep. The fattier meat you can get, the better. I know ribeye is expensive. Ribeye is really good, but the poor man's ribeye is chuck. It's very good fat content. And it's not near as expensive. Like, I don't know about you, but by me, ribeyes are like $15, $16 a pound, easy, hardly more than that.
I paid
At the
$14.99
store,
the other day at Costco.
I got a rib roast for $5.99 a pound at Giant the other day, Giant grocery store. But that's very unusual for me. It's usually very expensive. But the chuck is usually like around $6.50 a pound. So it's much more affordable. Very good fat content. It's got more fat content than like sirloin steak, um, or your, I can't think of the others, like New York strip, stuff like that. And then the other thing, ground beef, go with the fattier option. I like to get I think it's 75
70?
25.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, 75 25 or 70 30, something like that. I like to get that. Um, some people like to get the 80 20, but I just like a little bit more fat content. So I like to go with that. I never get anything like 90 10, 93 7, any of that stuff. Too lean for me. Okay. CDO. We just lost Greg for a minute. Don't forget to get out in the sun. It can be very helpful. That vitamin D is therapeutic. Johnny, thank you for bringing this up. I know we're running longer than we expected to, but I want to keep on this topic because I think this is going to help Solidare a little bit. The sun is great for your mental health as well. And something else that I really believe in is grounding. If you can, get out barefoot and walk around on the grass and so forth barefoot. That is good. I actually have a grounding mat too that I bought off of Amazon for like, I don't know, $15 or $20 that I have at my desk here. And I tend to sit here a lot working during the day and so forth too. And I'll sit here barefoot with my feet on the grounding mat, helping to get that grounding. That helps a lot too with mental health. And Greg is back. Great.
Yep, I'm here.
Simpson says, LOL, that's something I struggle with also, but yes, tallow and butter. And you know what? When I first started doing the carnivore diet, I thought steak and butter gal was crazy seeing her eat steak and butter. I was like, what is wrong with this lady? Um, and I didn't really eat butter. I I did one time I did this collab video with Dr. Anthony Chafee, where he had this video where he takes off his shirt and he's like, uh, something like, fat doesn't make you fat, it makes you strong and lean or whatever. And so I talked to him, like, I got this idea. And I kind of explained it all to him. And he's like, yeah, that's going to be great. So I did the short to that video where I was like on top listening to him. And then we both put it out on our channels. Of course, because his channel is huge, he got like thousands of views. And I think my video got like 2,000 views or something. But anyway, it's funny because this is the one time I like ate butter, because I'm sitting there watching him come out there and talk about the fat, and he takes off his shirt, and I'm like, and this was early on carnivore, so I looked worse than I do now, which you can see I still need to lose weight, but I was pretty big, and I'm just like, and I take this big hunk of butter and I start eating the butter on the video. It was great.
Kind of reminds me of the sardine challenge we had.
Yep. I thought it was great. But anyway, my point was I never used to eat butter. Now, sometimes I feel like I'm still hungry or I just haven't gotten enough fat in, and I'll take and cut off a little bit of butter off a stick and eat it. My wife looks at me like, did you just eat that? I'm like, yeah. I don't know. Sometimes you need it. Something like that works great. Gail says, I get a tub of bacon up since I run out of bacon grease too fast. Okay.
Yep, that's another. There's a lot of products out there that are.
Thanks for the tips and advice, guys. Really appreciate it. Yes.
Glad you're here.
And yeah, and if you have any other questions, after the video's over, even put it down in the comments and we'll get back to you in the comments and so forth. So, or if I can find my thing here, where is it? Also, geez, where did I do this? I just saw it. Where did it go?
What's that?
I don't know. I'll put it back in here.
I see Johnny eats a whole stick of butter.
Well, yeah, there you go. All right, so go to this, and you can leave me a question there too, and I'll get back to you and answer it. You can leave me a voice question, and then I can answer it in a video or something or whatever. If you want to actually tell me your email, I'll get back to you. I'll email you. I don't mind emailing viewers and so forth. So I can do that too, and email with you. So, all right, let's see. I got to catch up. Sorry, trying to check everything. Okay, Gail says I just got 2 small ribeyes at grocery outlet, 10 ounces for $7 each. Not bad. So that comes out 11 or $12 a pound, I guess. Definitely cheaper than what I usually see. Pretty good. Did you know you can also do grounding with your hands? Just go pull weeds and dig in the dirt. That's true. Any part of your bare body touching
getting out in nature,
doing that is grounding. Yep.
Walk barefoot in the grass.
I know Johnny believes in grounding and does grounding. He does that in his videos.
Hey, he's doing his sprints.
I eat a stick of butter each day, he says. So I think you already said that. Yeah, I don't eat that much butter, but I try and eat enough fat through other stuff too. But if I'm not getting enough fat, I'll take some of that and I'll eat it. Yep. Steak and butter gal. I used to think she was nuts. I now understand. I do it too. Simpson says, Greg, you didn't make a comment about taking.
Yeah, there is lots of trails and parks around here. I will say this, it's a lot hillier here than where I was from because it was flat. So, I mean, some of these just side streets have got huge hills on them. But I'll say this, I struggle with exercise a little bit. My body just, between my back issues and stuff, it's still, the first time around, I really didn't do any exercise until I was like past 80 pounds down. And then I was doing some physical therapy stuff. I'm not saying I can't build into it, but it's definitely going to take some time for sure.
Okay, so we're at an hour and a half, so this is going to be the last question, because I don't want us to go too long here. So this will be our last question. If you have any questions after that, just put them in the comments after the live stream, the regular comments of the video, and then that way we'll be able to answer them. Okay, so don't like talking politics. I don't like to talk politics either because it just gets people upset. But anyway, I think this is pretty important for carnivores. What's your opinion on the government hiking up meat prices and trying to push the plant-based meat thing? So I guess I'll go first. So you could say it's the government that's pushed plant-based and pushed the idea of cholesterol being bad for you instead of sugar, stuff like that. I think that you can say that because they have their own government regulations that hospitals have to go by. It's ridiculous. The hospital food that you get is usually junk. And they really don't understand science nutrition at all. They right away want to put you on the DASH diet, which, if you have a heart issue or something, high blood pressure, which doesn't work, does not help you improve your blood pressure. But that's another story. So yeah, I think that there is a lot of plant-based stuff that's pushed by the government in other places as well. And I think it's ridiculous. I don't think the government should tell anybody how they should eat, for one thing. I don't think just because I believe that the carnivore diet and any really any kind of low carb diet is on the proper human diet spectrum, even though I believe that, doesn't mean that I feel that everybody has to do that. If somebody wants to be a vegan, let them be a vegan. Somebody wants to eat the standard American diet, that's their choice. I hope that people realize that eating the standard American diet is not healthy for you at all. I hope people realize that if you're doing true vegan way of eating, you're going to need a lot of um, what's the word I want to say? Supplements, nutritional supplements, that kind of stuff, because you're not really getting as much as you think you are. But if they want to do that, I'm perfectly fine with that. What I don't believe in is anybody at a government level forcing people to eat a certain way. Um, Hiking up the meat prices, I don't know if that's a government thing as much as, I mean, everything. I don't want to get too much
Supply
into
and
politics,
demand
but
too, I suppose.
everything is being hiked up price wise, not just meat. But I think, I mean, this is a tough topic because I'm trying not to get very political with it, because it's not always a political thing, but
It could be a
more of an
business sense.
agenda
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
There's no money
Like
made off of healthy people.
there you go. There you go.
So
Like
when you think back to like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, everybody was pretty skinny. And guess what? They didn't have all that processed food to eat. They're eating the meat, the potatoes, and the basic stuff. Where now everything's processed in a package, get easy to go, grab and go. I think that's part of the issue too, as well. So it's just, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's just government. I think it's businesses, the healthcare industry. I think all of it's kind of related. And like I said, they don't make money on healthy people. So I think we also have to keep that in the back of our minds, as well.
I will say one thing that's going to be kind of political in a way, and that is that I really think RFK Jr. is good to have him in the position he's in, where he can open up some eyes, I think, um, in terms of health, and really kind of get more like low carb eating more out into the norm. Like I've heard, there was a press conference he had where he was talking about putting somebody on a carnivore diet, one of the governors or something like that, for instance. Those kinds of things are good for us as carnivores, that you got somebody like that in a health position within the government. So I think that's a good thing. That's all I'm going to say really about politics, because I don't want to get into politics. Any more you want to say on that, Greg, before we start to wrap it up?
No, I think that covers it. I mean, it's just, yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's hard to answer, but at the same time, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, that's why I tried to answer it in a business sense. It's like, well, I think it's just, nobody's making money if everybody's healthy. So it's just one of those things. It's there's a problem, and they want a reaction out of people, and then they have a solution. Usually it's a pill or something, right?
Yeah. So I mean, Ansel Keys kind of started this with his theory about cholesterol and saturated fat, and food companies started to find ways to make food, not real food, make food that people could eat that didn't have the saturated fat and so forth, these seed oils and all that, and they found a way to make money with it, and they don't want to give that up, because if people know that you actually should be eating saturated fat, you should be eating the red meat and not eating this processed junk, then they're not making any money. So, okay. Gail says my local, oh, I missed some. Johnny says buy from your local butcher, and Gail said my local butcher charges 2-3 times more than a grocery store. There's only like one butcher even around me, and it's the same thing. I like to go to Costco, and I'll get the big slabs of meat and cut them into my own steaks. So Simpson says last Sunday we walked up a trail around Christina. It is about halfway between us. Everyone wants me for a hike? Just tell me.
Might have to do that.
So yeah, I mean, we went longer than I actually anticipated, but I think we had some good questions come in.
Yeah, it's a great conversation tonight
to discuss. Yep. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining, and we'll see y'all soon. We'll probably do another live at some point in the near future. Bye, everybody.
Thank you all for joining. We appreciate you sitting in with us tonight. There's a lot. I think there's a lot of good conversation, and even in the chats. I mean, I think it's people help each other, and it's a good thing. So I just want to thank all of you for contributing, and even if you didn't comment and you're out there watching, thanks for being with us tonight. We appreciate you, and looking forward to the next one, Brian.
Yep. Just put a comment in here real quick. Sorry. Okay. Yes, definitely. And hey, I did not knock the microphone over. Maybe I will next time. I don't know. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
See ya. Take care.